Hello and welcome to another Zenphi video. Today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be going over one of Zenphi's most used features, which is its dashboards. You're able to create very visually appealing dashboards, share them with others even if they aren't inside of your workflow. You can display information, add action buttons, so we're going to get into that right now. So let's get started. Now, what are you able to add to your dashboards? There's different widgets that Zenphi has available for you to use. You have grids, which are these tables. You have different charts, series chart, pie chart. You can even add a calendar or list. So really you can choose any of these depending on your flow needs. All of the widgets take information from Zenphi tables, which you're very easily able to create. This is an example table that we have used for our dashboard. It's very similar to a Google Sheet, for example. All you have to do to add a column is add the name. You can choose the column type. If you want to make it a string, a URL, multi-select, currency, etc., you're able to do that here, and then you give it a name. And then to add a record, all you have to do is click on the plus sign and you can fill out all the fields. Now, for example, if I were to add a widget, if I click on the plus sign and then click, for example, on grid, here you can give your grid a title. So we'll go ahead and put example. You can also hide the title if you prefer. Now here in source table, you're going to be able to see all the tables that you have created. Remember, it has to be a Zenphi table for it to appear in the drop-down menu. Once you click that, you can click on save. And then you're able to select which columns you want to display. These are all the columns available. Maybe you just want to show the quantity and the price. You can click on save, and you're able to see those two fields. Here you can add the option to allow people to be able to add records directly from the widget, if they can edit records or if they can delete them directly from here. This will depend mainly on who has access to your dashboard page. And as you can see, you're also able to add action buttons. Now if you click here to add an action button, you have two options. You can either create an action button that runs a flow or that brings you to a detail page. If you wish to run a flow using an action button, the only ones that are allowed to be able to be connected in this way are the ones that use this trigger called tables invoke record, meaning that it's going to start the flow when a Zenphi table record is invoked from an action button. Once you've created your flow with that trigger and published it, you'll be able to see it in the list where it says select the flow. Here you can give the action button a name. You can change the color of the button. Now, if you prefer to add a detail page, you're also able to select the page down here in the drop-down menu. For example, here I have a detail page with an action button to be able to run a flow. I'll show you how that works in a second. What you're able to do with the detail pages is add more information. Maybe you don't want to display everything inside of the table, but you do want a place to be able to view all of the columns if needed. So here you're able to add text. You can choose different items. All you have to do is drag them across. If you want to add an action button, if you want to add the price, you can do so as well. You can also add conditions to all of your widgets. And again, you can edit if you want the record to be able to be editable and deletable as well. An example of a condition you can add is in this grid widget that I have created called need to restock. I have added only two fields, which are the quantity and the model. However, down at the bottom I have put that I only want to show the records where the quantity is less than or equal to 20. That way I know that those need to be restocked. This top widget that I have created is very useful if you want to group by a certain category. So for example, here I have grouped everything by brand. So I'm able to see which brand has which records. If, for example, your flow has different onboarding statuses, you can show here so you know exactly what status each record is in. Now down at the bottom, I have the full inventory. However, I'm only showing the product, the brand, and the model. However, I may want to see more information. So here, as mentioned previously, I have added an action button to be able to see more information. And this is the detail page that I had shown previously. So inside of this detail page, I have added an action button. And this one is going to run this flow. Now, one of the perks of using a flow triggered by an action button is that you're also able to add a form. So for example, here my action button is going to be used to modify the price or the quantity available for the item. So in this case, inside of the flow, I have put that they need to fill out a form. Here you're able to use dynamic information from the record they chose. For example, here I'm using the product they selected. So in this case, it would be the laptop. It's going to take the information from the specific record they selected. So this one would be for the laptop, this one for the computer, cell phone, iPad, etc. So here you're able to see all that information. It would give them the current quantity, which it would retrieve from the Zenphi table, and it also has the price. And then I would add if they want to modify the quantity, if they want to modify the price as well, and I would make all of those changes, updating the records in the table inside of the flow, and everything would happen with a push of a button. So if we click here, for example, more info, and I want to modify the price or the quantity, they would get this form. So it says laptop currently has 100 units available in stock and a sale price of $1,000. So if I want to modify the quantity, then I can just fill in this information. It asks if I want to modify the price as well. And action buttons are a really easy way for you to be able to make it interactive. If you're constantly using certain records from tables, you're able to have people modify these records by just pressing a button, being able to send emails, for example, or maybe confirming that they've finished a task for a certain record. So you can add different tasks depending on the action button that you create. You can also add multiple action buttons to a single record. And if you wish to create another dashboard page, you could just click on Create New Page. You can give it a name, for example, Test Dashboard. This part here would be the edit view. If you want to add or remove, edit any of your widgets, you go to this section, and up at the top it would be to view. So now you're able to go from tab to tab on your different dashboard pages. And that would be everything. As you can see, it's very easy to set up your dashboards inside of Zenphi. It's really easy to be able to visualize the information that you have displayed on your Zenphi tables, and it's a great way to be able to share the information, for example, with other customers without them having to see your flows, your tables. You can choose what information you want to display to them, as well as add any action buttons to be able to grant them certain access to modify fields if you wish. Leave any questions you have down in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching.